Happy Sunday to you. I'm meteorologist Ryan Hoke with today's edition of the Hokey video blog. So happy you're able to join us. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of weather going on over the next week or so. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about the November we just had. In fact, today is December 1st, the first day of meteorological winter. Of course, real winter starts on December 21st, but for all intents and purposes, and certainly in the forecast, why don't we just call it winter from now on, shall we? Back in November, we were about 4 degrees below normal on temperature here in Louisville. We had 3 days that topped out in the 30s, 10 that topped out in the 60s. Our lowest temperature was 20 degrees, highest temperature 69. And we picked up a half an inch of snowfall here in Louisville. That's about 4/10 over the 1/10 of an inch that we're used to seeing in November. So we're already ahead on snowfall this year. Let's see if we can pick up some more. All right, here's today's Hokey weather fact. Lake effect snow showers can actually make it as far south as Kentucky sometimes. They come off of Lake Michigan, they go through Gary, Indiana, on through Indy, and sometimes they make it into Covington, Cincinnati, even down here in Louisville sometimes. So if we see that, we'll be letting you know about that as it happens. You don't just get lake effect snow up there in Indiana and Michigan and parts of New York. It can happen down here too, sometimes. Here's a satellite and radar view. No lake effect snow affecting us this morning for sure. We've just got a bunch of cloud cover. That's going to be hanging tough as we go throughout today and tomorrow as well. Even a few spots of drizzle possible as we go throughout the morning hours of tomorrow, late evening hours of tonight. Shouldn't cause any problems other than just some drip drops on the windshield. But now let's focus on a system that will be affecting us as we go throughout your Wednesday, Thursday, and your Friday. Here's the first wave of it. Comes on Wednesday evening. It'll be in the form of some lighter rainfall. We'll be seeing that throughout the Wednesday evening time frame. Should be a quick hit. It'll be out of here. And then we get another batch of it on Thursday through Friday. And you'll notice that a lot of this is going to be occurring south of the Ohio River. So that'll be the best chance to see heavy rainfall at this time, according to some of the latest data. In fact, according to the GFS model, here's the latest, about 2.5 inches plus of rainfall across our southern counties, maybe an inch plus across midsections of our area. And, of course, areas to our north still get about an inch, so still some heavy rainfall expected for those folks up there. But we could see upwards of 3 inches in some parts of Kentuckiana. This is definitely some heavy rainfall for this time of year. Not expecting too much in the way of flood concerns at this point because this will be stretched out over about a 2-day period as this is happening. And we haven't seen a whole lot of rainfall lately either, so that's going to help things along a little bit in the flood department as well. Then what happens? All right, you've all been hearing about the snow that we've been looking at, the potential for snow at least, as we go throughout the end of next week. And this will be on the backside of this very system. So you see Friday here at 10 o'clock, we've potentially got an area of low pressure east of the Appalachian Mountains. We've got cold air in place back here as this precipitation is falling. So yes, it could potentially be snow if the air is cold enough and if the low placement is where it is forecast to be, at least on the European GFS and even the Canadian models as well. If you saw yesterday's video blog post, things are still pretty similar this morning on all three models. We're seeing some impressive consistency for about less than 7 days out now, but for about a week out, that's pretty decent, and we like to see that if we're looking for snow across Kentuckiana. Of course, everything's out of here by Saturday morning. There's still some potential for maybe another hit of snow. This would be early week next week, but the models are starting to push that south, or in the European model's case, warm things up and keep that as rain. We'll see how that goes. But let's focus on that late Friday time frame here and show you what the Euro model is showing in terms of snowfall coverage. I don't want to show you the amounts yet, still way too early for that, but this is just kind of fun just to see what the data is outputting, and you'll see that, well, it's got a big wide paintbrush swath of snow pretty much from Arkansas up through Pennsylvania, and yeah, we're smack dab in the middle, and some heavier spots to our west near St. Louis and to our east near the areas of eastern Ohio into western Pennsylvania. That's a lot of snow, and I don't think it'll be quite this heavy. I think the European model is overdoing things. More logical would be the GFS model. And you'll see lighter snowfall amounts, but still some impressive totals as you head out toward, looks like northeast Oklahoma, southwest portions of Missouri there, even on into Cincinnati through West Pennsylvania. Now, this looks a little more realistic to me at this point. Still doesn't get us out of the woods in terms of snow, though. So we're certainly still looking at it on all three of the major long-term models. Here's something we need to focus on, though, is the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, and the AO, which is the Arctic Oscillation. I won't go into too much detail on this, but what I will explain is that you really want both of these to be in the negative phase to get a decent snowfall here across Kentuckiana. You'll see that the Arctic Oscillation goes pretty much neutral during this time frame that we're looking at here, which would be about the 7th or 8th of December. And the NAO threatens to go negative, but doesn't really do it all the way. In fact, there's some disagreement on that forecast. You'll see the multiple lines indicating multiple forecasts. So it's trying to go negative, and it looks like it will, but the timing is still up in the air at this point. So with the NAO possibly going negative and the AO going neutral, there is some support there for a system like this. It's not out of the question. Really like to see the AO go negative at this point, but neutral, yeah, it's possible. And of course, the NAO going negative, that's a good sign. If you like snow. If you don't like snow, then that's not good. Of course, I have to put this disclaimer in there. There's a possibility we might not get any snow out of this. You know, it's still so far out that we're just watching the trends. We're watching the long-term models. This is more for fun than anything at this point. But it's something to keep in the back of your mind from a forecast perspective at this point. This rain system that could be heavy could end to some snow Friday night into very early Saturday morning. We'll be watching things. At this point, it's looking like there could be snow in the forecast. So we'll keep an eye on things as we go throughout the week. Brian will be in here updating you with the latest on the data that's coming in. Should be interesting to watch over the next week for sure. In the early December snow, something we don't normally see around here. First measurable snow is usually in the middle of December, and the way we've been running ahead of schedule this year, both by temperature and by snowfall, you saw that half inch we got there in November. Really, it's no surprise given that trend. So we'll continue to watch things as we go throughout the week. For now, I'm meteorologist Ryan Hoke. Have a happy Sunday.